Hello beautiful people, my name's Kristen. Welcome to my channel. I am super happy to have you stop by always, whether you're a regular subscriber or this is your first time. If you do like videos on books or unboxings or just random stories that I feel might be helpful to share, please stay around and you can just watch the videos that bring you joy, because that's what I really feel like it's about, just getting inspiration, just finding something new you want to read if you're reading one of the reading ones. So today I am sharing my book haul from Powell's bookstore, and if you do not know what Powell's bookstore is, I want to take a brief moment to share it with you because it is a bookstore in Portland, Oregon. There's a main store and then a couple branches. They're all in Portland and only in Portland, and the main store is over a city block squared, 4 stories high, and it is listed as the largest bookstore in the world, at least in the US. And it does over $45 million in revenue every year. Every day it sells and handles over 3,000 books a day. So there's over 4 million and something books at any one time in the store. So it has all the new books, it has signed books, it has author special events, it has book readings and shows of all kinds that go on all the time. It has a coffee house included in the bottom level of it, and there is used books. So everybody brings their books, gets credit, and goes back and buys more books. I wish that was my hometown, but I am across the country outside of Washington, D.C., not near Portland, Oregon. But if you are in Portland, Oregon, it is a must-see stop, even if you are not into books. There are gifts and magazines and all kinds of other stuff that you can do too. This is actually a map of the store, so I thought I'd just kind of give you a little overview here. You can see the different levels. It's broken down by colors, and these correspond when you're in the store. So you can say, hey, I want to go to the gold room because that's where this book is listed. There's over 500 employees that work for Powell's, mostly in their main store, and just constant people around. They will go to computers that are all over, and they will know if any book is in that building and which section and which aisle and which little cubicle it's in. It is amazing. So the hunt is just glorious too. I'm going to show you what I got from Powell's. So I got 3 classics because you know I'm on a goal to read my classics. I picked up Elizabeth Gaskell's North and South. I do know that this book, I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that this book has some kind of feministic wrestling with women's genders and roles and importance, particularly back in the older times. So I look forward to reading this. I also picked up another Wilkie Collins, because Wilkie Collins is the one who wrote The Moonstone and wrote The Woman in White, which has become one of my all-time favorite classics. I'm going to do a video sometime soon of my favorite classics that I've been reading, but this one, The Frozen Deep, is just a short little book that was originally written and done as a play by Wilkie Collins about 2 men who are kind of at odds, and they end up on an expedition to the Antarctic and have all kinds of adventures and kind of wrestle with what does it mean to be in a dangerous situation, but also, you know, with somebody that you maybe don't trust. So the fascinating thing is, when I read the introduction and postscript about this, is Charles Dickens was good friends with Wilkie Collins, and in the original play these gentlemen were the 2 main characters who were at odds, and they actually performed that play. How cool would that have been to have seen that? And then Charles Dickens was so inspired by the character that he played that it became one of the characters in A Tale of Two Cities. Little trivia of the day for you. My other classic I picked up was Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. You know I love Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Around the World in 80 Days. Love them, love them. So I'm super excited to read this kind of final main novel by him, and I thought it was a beautiful book. I did pay, like, I think this one was $9.50. It doesn't have the price on it anymore, but I think it was about $10 for that book. Next, I picked up some books by authors that I had enjoyed, but I wanted to read something else. I got all these books used, so I got a pretty good deal. This is Leanne Moriarty. She wrote Big Little Lies, which was one of my favorite books I read last year, and this is The Chaperone, about an older woman who has to accompany a younger woman who's kind of a Hollywood starlet, but she's kind of a little spoiled and pampered, but very successful, and so that kind of interesting dynamic. I look forward to reading that. Then I loved the library books, one of my all-time favorite probably, by Susan Orlean. This is another book of hers, The Orchid Thief. This one I am going to read in November for sure because it is nonfiction. It is based on a true story about those who kind of manage the orchid industry. And there's just a fantastic story behind that. I don't want to go in too much to spoil it, but I'm going to read this in November. November is nonfiction November in the booktube world, and I am going to be taking up that challenge. So I'll probably do another video, probably connected maybe with my wrap-ups, explaining in October what I'm going to be reading in November. So this one for sure I'm going to read in November, but I would like y'all to weigh in on what other books you think I should read first, any of the ones I'm showing you that you think would be good. I also picked up a Barbara Kingsolver, Unsheltered. So she is the one who wrote Poisonwood Bible, which is her most famous novel probably, but I didn't really care for that book. However, I loved her book, The Prodigal Summer. Loved that one. So I thought, you know, I'm going to pick up another one and give her another shot, because if you really like one book and you're really kind of on the fence about another, I usually like to give the author another chance. So I read kind of the summaries for the rest of her books, and this is the one I decided I wanted to try, so I picked that up. Next, a couple science fiction books, which I don't read a whole lot of, so I'm excited about that. This is V.E. Schwab's Vicious, which has gotten a lot of great reviews on BookTube, so I look forward to reading it. It's a story about a couple young men that I think are their college age, and they do some experiments, kind of maybe Jekyll and Hyde is trying to enhance things or even bring in the supernatural elements, and things get messed up and go poorly. So this has a series. This is the first book in the series. If I obviously don't like this, I won't need to read the rest of the series, but it's got lots of talk and chatter, and I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing what I think of it. Another one that's a series, sci-fi, that I wanted to dive into and take it a shot, which I've never read this author, is Brandon Sanderson. So this is a lot of times with even young adult, but this was in the sci-fi section in Powell's. And so somebody had recommended, I think, he's got a ton of books, but someone recommended that this would be a good one to start if you had never read him. If you agree or know anything about that, let me know, because I want to give the best shot at taking this author on. So it's, again, fantasy, science fiction, not my standard read, but I want to get into that more. So if you have other ones. And then along that line, definitely young adult, is Aurora Rising. This is Ami Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this is the authors who did the alumni series that I love so much. It was definitely favorites of last year. I know they were in my top. So this is another book. It's supposed to be very different, but it was used, even though it's hardback. So I think I paid like $13 for this copy. Nice hardback. So I look forward to checking this out and seeing if this one's any good, because again, an author that I had a favorite book with, and see if I like this next one. So those are the 9 books that I got at Powell's. Definitely reading The Orchid Thief, but if you have one of those that you think I should read definitely in November, I will probably pick one, maybe 2 of those, because I also have my local library does their annual sale, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, because I got close to 20 books, because all their paperbacks are $1 and all their hardbacks are $2, and they make like over $20,000 in 1 week, so at their book sale. So that's just amazing to me, and we all benefit because we get really great used books at close to nothing. I mean, there's no place you can go get books that inexpensive, really, except for maybe some thrift stores if you're really lucky. But Stay tuned for that. I'm going to do a couple more of those videos. I would love for you to give input, particularly the ones that I already own, what I should read. But if you have something else that you think I'd like to read or that you're reading and love, please leave me a comment. I keep an ongoing list of books I'm interested in, and I look for them at the thrift stores and garage sales and library sales. So y'all have a blessed day and happy reading.